Welcome to Anchors Away, the podcast that chronicles a landlocked future sailor's journey to finding freedom and adventure at sea. I'm your host, Todd Middlebrooks, and I welcome you along on my journey. In this episode, we have some more sailing news. The potential U.S. Virgin Islands trip has been canceled, the ASA 105 certification course continues, and I'm ready to book our sailing school, pending the impact of not one, but two hurricanes. Now let's see what's new in the world of sailing. It was recently announced that 3 sailing gears companies have designed and are now selling protective face coverings to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Zeke, Henry Lloyd, and Helly Hansen are all selling face masks, so I'll have a link to those in the show notes. Zeke, Henry Lloyd, and Helly Hansen are all selling face protection. Zeke, Henry Lloyd, and Helly Hansen are all selling protective face coverings. I'll have a link to those in the show notes. The Annapolis Fall Boat Show has been canceled. The U.S. Powerboat Show was scheduled for October 1st through 4th, and the U.S. Sailboat Show was slated for October 8th through 12th. Now let's go to today's sailing term. The sailing term for this episode, sailing terms, are Windward and Leeward. Windward is the side of the boat closest to the wind. When you're heeling over in a monohull, this will always be the high side. Leeward is the side of the boat furthest from the wind. When you're heeling over, this will always be the low side. Now let's go on to today's episode. In the last episode, I mentioned the possibility of a sailing trip with friends in the U.S. Virgin Islands. That possibility is no more. Due to an increase in coronavirus cases, the U.S. Virgin Islands has once again closed down travel. Although we hadn't set any firm plans for this trip, it's yet another discouraging setback for travel in general. So many of us are ready to begin traveling once again. However, there is a silver lining in this situation. The silver lining in this situation is that it frees up our fall break week to head off to sailing school. I've been in continued contact with Emerald Coast Sailing in Pensacola, Florida, about using that week in October to learn to sail. The idea is for my wife and I to get ASA 101 and 103 certified over a 4-day time period, while 2 of our 3 boys ride along and also become better acquainted with sailing. The ASA is the basic keelboat sailing course, and the description provided by the ASA is to learn to skipper a 20 to 27 foot sloop-rigged keelboat by day in light to moderate wind and sea conditions. You also learn basic sailing terminology, parts and functions, helm commands, basic sail trim, points of sail, buoyage, seamanship, and safety, including basic navigation rules to avoid collisions and hazards. The ASA 103 description for basic coastal cruising provided by the ASA is to learn to skipper a sloop-rigged auxiliary-powered 25 to 35 foot keelboat by day in moderate winds and sea conditions. Learn cruising sailboat terminology, basic boat systems, auxiliary engine operation, docking procedures, intermediate sail trim, navigation rules, basic coastal navigation, anchoring, weather, safety, and seamanship. So there are many benefits that brought Emerald Coast to the top of my sailing school list. First of all, they're within driving distance. This is important as we're trying to limit our air travel currently limit our air travel due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. All of their courses are private and priced for 2 certifications. So it's nice to know that only our family, will be on the boat. Also, this provides a 2-to-1 student-to-instructor ratio, meaning more learning and more sailing. Emerald Coast courses are live aboard, so after a day of sailing, we return to the dock each night, but get to stay on the boat for the duration of our course. There are many benefits associated with living aboard as well. We will become more familiar with the boat, its systems, etc. We get more practice leaving and returning to the dock, which can be the trickiest parts of sailing. Our lodging is included in the course rate, and depending on the dates, we will likely be learning and living on a Beneteau 393 monohull. So, why haven't I booked yet? Well, as of the recording of this episode, there are 2 storm systems, Laura and Marco, that are headed for landfall in the Gulf of Mexico. They are currently fluctuating in designation between tropical storm and hurricane, but could potentially have an impact on Pensacola, where Emerald Coast Sailing is located. I'm keeping an eye on the situation as it plays out this week to determine when to book our courses. ASA 105 progress. I'm almost halfway through the Starpath Coastal Navigation course, and I'm really enjoying learning about navigation. The course has been fun and challenging. There's been a good bit of math thus far, but also some fun tools that make things easier. I always love tools and gear. I've learned to use a navigation protractor, parallel rulers, and a divider, in addition to finally having longitude and latitude kind of click for me. Working with and learning symbols, etc. on paper charts has been invaluable as well. While most sailors navigate with electronic charts and GPS nowadays, it's great to have the knowledge of traditional navigational methods if and when electronics fail. Right now, my practice quiz average is a 93, which I'm pretty happy with. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Anchors Aweigh. Join us again next time as we continue. Join us again next time when hopefully I've booked my sailing. Join us again next time when hopefully I have booked our sailing school and we're getting prepared to learn to sail. Thanks for tuning into the show. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the boat on future episodes, as they will automatically be docked into your favorite podcast player. Until then, anchors aweigh.